guys? It's Naseem here. Now today I'm going to be giving you guys a very special look at the brand new Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra. Now in my opinion, this was easily one of the most exciting phones of the year because it brought a new feel to the Galaxy S series as a whole. Like when we look at the previous years, the Galaxy S21 Ultra and the S20 Ultra didn't really differ that much from the Galaxy Note 20 Ultra, which meant that both phones looked very bland in comparison. Also, the fact that the S21 and the S20 Ultra weren't that different from the other phones in their lineup, it really made the S21 Ultra and the S20 Ultra look even more dull than it already was. And I feel like Samsung killed two birds with one stone because people don't have to choose between the Ultra and the Note. They now have the option of getting both the Note and the Ultra at the same time. And it also makes the Ultra look much more desirable than the regular S22 and S22 Plus because not only do you get a more powerful phone, you can also have a Bluetooth S Pen, which will give you much more functionality. Now, before I give you guys some insight as to how powerful the S22 Ultra is, the first thing that we have to do is unbox it. Now, the first thing that I noticed when I was unboxing the S22 Ultra was the fact that the box had a very cool black and gray aesthetic to it. Like right on the front, you have the small black S with the huge 22 on the front, which really looks professional and appropriate. Now, when we look at the sides of the box, we can see that it has a full name on the phone with that same black text. And on the other side, we can see the Samsung text with that same exact wording. Now, the first thing that we can see when we open the box is the S22 Ultra itself. And one thing that I must say that I already love about this phone is the fact that it has the exact same squared off build, just like on the Note 22 Ultra. And when we look at the back, we can see that it has a wide, ultra wide, and two telephoto lenses along with the flash. But one thing that is different this year is that we no longer have any sort of camera bump. And I will say that overall it has a much nicer look to it, and it gives off a very clean and sleek aesthetic that makes the S22 Ultra different from the other phones in the lineup. And when we look at the rest of the phone, we can see that on the top there's nothing but the microphone. On the left side of the phone there also isn't very much. On the right side we have the up and down volume buttons, the power button, and an antenna. And last but not least, on the bottom we have our USB Type-C charging port, along with our SIM card slot, speaker, and S Pen cutout. And right here, as you can see, to get your S Pen out of the phone, all you have to do is press down and it comes right out. Now the S Pen is exactly the same as the previous Note phones. Like right here, you can see that it has a very sleek look. It has the button on the side, and the pen itself is color coordinated in some parts. Now when we look at the screen, we can see that just like on the previous S21 Ultra, we have the hole punch camera cutout in the middle and the slightly curved display that wraps around the edge like on the Note 20 Ultra. Now the final things that we have in the box is our SIM ejection tool, our starter guide, and the USB Type-C to USB Type-C charging cable, which means that again, we will not be getting any charger brick in the box. Now another thing that is different from the S21 and S22 Ultra is the fact that we get a whole new set of colors, starting with burgundy, phantom black, phantom white, green, graphite, sky blue, and red. And right here, you can see that I have the Phantom Black version, and I will say that it is one of the best colors that you can get on the S22 Ultra. It's not too bright, it still looks clean, it still looks sleek, and it adds more flavor to your phone. Even when we look at the color and the light, we can see that it's able to give a great colorful look, while also having that matte back to give it that extra shine to go on the shinier sides. Even when we look at the S Pen, we can see that on the end of it, it matches the color of the phone, but also has that black body to still make it look professional. Now when it comes to the build quality of the S22 Ultra, I would say that this is definitely one of the more premium builds that we have seen in 2022. And on the back and front of the S22, we have Gorilla Glass Victus Plus, so even if you rock the phone without a case, you'll still be able to get great durability if you drop your phone frequently. And another thing that I loved about this phone is the weight. And if you didn't know, it is the exact same weight as the S21 Ultra, so it will be a little bit heavier when compared to the average phone, but I prefer my phone heavier, especially if I'm paying a lot of money for it. Even when we look at the S Pen, I would say that it was as hard as a rock, so if you ever sit on it or your kids or little siblings end up messing with it, the pen is strong enough to withstand a lot. Now when we look at the physicality of the S22 Ultra, I would say that most people will either love the fact that it's huge or hate the fact that it's pretty hard to use with one hand. The S22 Ultra has a height of 77.9 millimeters, a length of 163.3 millimeters, and a width of 8.9 millimeters, making this one of Samsung's biggest phones. And right here, you can see how it looks in my hand. It is definitely big, but if I'm being honest, it's the perfect size for people who want a bigger phone. So if you're someone who wants to easily use your phone with one hand, the S22 Ultra size isn't really that great. But again, you do get a better battery life and a better display. So when it comes to physicality, the S22 Ultra is ultimately decided by your preference. Now when we look at the display of the S22 Ultra, we can see that it has an 8-inch Quad Edge HD Plus display that is easily one of the best in the smartphone market. And from my first look at the display, we can see that it's very colorful, very vibrant, very bright, and it's all around an enjoyable experience. I also love that I rarely noticed the hole punch cutout when I was watching videos on it. And another thing that I liked about the screen was that the security functions were extremely fast. Like right here, you can see just how fast the fingerprint sensor is, which was very refreshing when you've been using the Pixel 6 Pro. And even when I use Face Unlock, you can see just how fast it is, which means that not only is it secure, but you don't have to do the most when trying to unlock your phone. And to give you guys an example of how great the screen looks, I wanted to show you how it looks when I'm watching a video.
I swear I can make it through this video without making that joke, but really the bottom line here to understand this phone the best really is like if you took the name off of this phone, what Samsung is giving you for the money is a Galaxy Note. But the phone that I'm reviewing and using is called the S22 Ultra.
Now the Galaxy S22 Ultra has a 12 megapixel ultra wide, a 108 megapixel wide, and a 10 megapixel telephoto that also supports 100 times zoom. Also on the front we have a 40 megapixel selfie camera that, just like the back cameras, is one of the best in the game. And looking at the sample photos, we can see that the daytime outside photos were the best, the colors were vibrant, the sharpness was pretty great, but there were definitely times where it could be a little too sharp. Next, when we look at the daytime inside photos, I would say that these also perform very well. Like right here, you can see that the colors were very accurate, the sharpness was still great, and there were times where there was mild graininess, but overall it still looked good. Next, when we look at the nighttime outside photos, we can see that the night mode was able to get a lot of light in, but my skin tone was lighter than normal, which really threw off the pic. And the nighttime inside photos were still pretty good, but the grain was higher than usual. But once I turned on the lights, the quality was much better and there was little grain. Now when it comes to additional specs, the S22 Ultra has an IP68 water and dust resistant rating. It has 1750 nits worth of screen brightness. It has a 5000 mAh battery that I will be testing in my day in the life review. And it has 128 gigs all the way up to 1 terabyte worth of storage. And there it is, you guys, my review on the Samsung Galaxy S22 Ultra, the new Note. And make sure you stay tuned for more, as I will be giving another review based on my day-to-day use with it, and a day in the life review to test out the battery and its functionality. And if you guys made it to the end of this video, I'd like to say thank you for sticking around, and don't forget to like the video and subscribe. It'll be very appreciated. And as far as social media, you can follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.